and welcome to another episode of Dance Teachers Academy. I am your host, Jose on the mic, and with me, as always, is the lovely, amazing dancer, May. How are you doing?
I am fantastic this afternoon.
You are looking yummy, and I'm going to leave it right there.
It's good of you to say so.
Yeah, we are going to go. We're going to go with that later on. We are happy to have, and we've been trying to get this man for a while. Yeah, he's been hiding from us. We have the Neeses, Pam and Wes. How are you kids doing?
Good.
Yay,
Thank you for having us.
That's, you know what?
I'm Pam-tastic. That's how I am.
She is Pam-tastic. That's something you should know about
You look
her.
Pam-tastic. Oh, by the way, now, I didn't think that picture back there could look any better. Honey, you're working it.
I do my best.
She works.
I do my best.
All right. So what do you kids got going on? I mean, it's a lovely day out. What you got going on?
Today,
Yeah.
it's another Sunday, right? So I had some lessons this morning. Here with you guys this afternoon. Got a couple of things to do tonight. Teach tonight at a club tonight, and
What are you teaching?
West Coast swing at.
So that's your thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The
And I
West
want to
Coast
say
thing.
that Wes is one of my colleagues at Studio 22.
Right. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to bring them up here later on, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice segue into it.
Yeah.
So
We
West
have a big
Coast.
crew there.
West Coast swing.
How long you been doing this?
I've been dancing 22 years. I've
Okay.
been teaching almost 20. I've been doing it over 19 years, I think. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So what do you got going on tonight? You say you're teaching.
Teaching at a country western club in Louisville tonight.
How often does that go on?
We do it every week on Sunday.
Every week on Sunday?
Yeah, every week on Sunday.
Time frame? So, so
6:30
somebody.
Yeah, 6:30 to 7:30. Jim actually teaches 6:30 to 7, and I cover 7.
Jim Weber, another. He's a fan of the show.
Yeah.
We're talking about Electric Cowboy. Did we already say
Oh, so it's
that?
Electric Cowboys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sure is.
Well,
That's
they're-
one of my students calls it Electric Chicken.
That's funny.
I haven't heard that one before.
How do you get electric chicken?
I don't
out of
know,
that?
but now every time I try to
Cowboy
say
chicken,
it, I say electric.
cowboy, electric chicken.
Yeah, well,
Chicken Cowboy.
That's funny. So most
okay.
of
That's
our
funny.
students just call it EC.
Yeah,
See.
yeah. I hear electric cowboy. I don't know where this.
So electric cowboy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Where-
so
Funny.
You see.
And your classes at Studio 22 are what days?
I have Monday 5:30 to 7. It's a level 1 class, beginner. I have Wednesday starting in September from 8:30 till 10, and that's a next level up, kind of a connect class, or we call it 1.5. And then, yeah, exactly. And then on Thursdays,
Okay.
we have a level 2 from 7 to 8:30, and then another level 1 from 8:30 to 10.
I've actually had a
Practice
chance to catch some of your classes. I'm not sure which one, whether it's beginner or 1 point.
It's a popular class.
It is a popular class. My dance instructor is always busy, so I probably have to pop in there, and learn that from you, because I mean, you know how it is. Yeah, the barber's kids are always the hairiest because
Mechanics car never runs.
it never runs because he's too busy working on everybody else's stuff. Yeah, that's kind of the way it is. Yeah. I know
Good thing you pick up fast.
Yeah, there is that. I know she hates when I say that, but it's kind of true. And when she comes home after like an 8 or 9 hour, I don't want to sit there and bother her. Hey, let's go ahead and do this.
Let's dance. Right.
Yeah, let's go
Although
ahead and
I
dance.
will, especially if
She
you give me a
will.
little wine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The wine version is always the best.
And it's probably the most fun dance she's had all day.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh, I wouldn't doubt
Always.
it. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. Clothing optional, which is always cool.
Oh, exactly.
Wait, back to Wes.
I'm sorry.
Wine
sorry.
and dance.
Yeah, I sorry.
Wine and dance clothing on.
Yeah.
That's you go there.
I digress. Anyway, back to you.
So one thing that Wes and I have in common at the studio is that we both teach a lot of wedding couples.
We do teach
and
wedding
you
couples.
love that. I know,
I know.
And that's not for everybody. Not everybody likes
No.
to teach wedding
Right.
couples,
Right.
but
I love it because I had one today. Because of where they are, it's just fun. It's just fresh, and they're, it's a great time for them, and they kind of share that. And watching them trying to sort this out, because so many of them, for me, I don't know about you, but
Yes.
for me, so many of them, you say, "What is your background? What have you done? How much dance have you
Nothing.
done?" And it's nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yes.
Well, she thought about it when she was 4, and I've never thought about it. So
I saw a movie once.
yeah, exactly. That's all
So
I'm
it's
doing.
already dancing. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
So getting them started, and then it's always fun because you give them a little bit of basics and you get them moving, and then you put their music on. And then for the first time, they're looking at each other doing the basics to their music, and it's kind of the first little introduction of what it's going to be like. So
Yes.
that's always delightful.
yeah, I love
That is
it.
kinda cool.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so you're ahead.
Personally, I think the reason he loves wedding lessons so much is because we have for about 7 years volunteered at a marriage enrichment seminar where we help couples get along better, whether they stay together or not. And he infuses a lot of that relationship skills into the dance lessons.
That's awesome.
And then, did you learn
It's a chance to say a little bit,
the hard way?
Heck yes.
Did you learn the hard way?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Heck yes.
You know, I tell
the long,
we've been
hard road.
We've been married 18
God.
years, and I tell people it's been the happiest 6 weeks of my life. You know? We got in a bad place. We'd been married, and everybody thought we were the perfect couple, and we both loved to dance.
Because
we had a lot in common. You know, everybody can tell. Everybody can tell why she loved me, and but we actually had some hard times, and we went and got some help. And it helped a lot. It helped great. And so now, actually, I teach dance at that marital workshop. So that's a lot of fun too. So I do anytime I get a chance to just insert a little bit, to the folks. Because it's dancing, as you know, dancing is just more communication, more relationship, very relational. Right?
Sure.
So
from what I've gathered, I got roped into this thing. I don't say rope, like in a negative connotation.
Right. No, of course not.
It's a golden torture.
Of course not.
With or without clothes.
Right. But no, so I help her with the wedding workshop on every other Saturday, and so it's kind of cool. And it's like you said, you get these kids in here, and they have absolutely no dance training whatsoever.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to watch them that first hour. So we have them for 2 hours. You watch them that first hour, and they're just absolutely fumbling through this thing, and you can see them talking to you. You're doing this wrong. And then that second, it's like the light comes on, and they're like, see, exactly. That's what we're trying. Yeah. And they all of a sudden they're real comfortable, and they're doing this thing, and it's like, and that's just one day.
Yeah.
That's just like 2 days.
Right.
That's like 2 hours.
Exactly.
That's like 2 hours.
And the seminar, when he teaches the lesson, it's typically the third day out of 4.
Right.
Is that right? The third?
Yeah.
And what they normally do is they used to have the first hour where they would pair spouses with another spouse.
Somebody else,
yeah, not your.
So
really?
like they would have me dance with you.
Oh.
Sure.
And then after the end of the first hour, they would have you go back to your spouse. And then they would discuss
swinger
how
thing. I like it.
No, it is not.
No, negative.
To promote
My turn right now. But
I'm joking.
It's very interesting because they would have them discuss how differently I would treat you in the dance as opposed to him.
Yeah.
Completely.
Oh yeah. And it's since it's side by side, it's so glaring.
Yeah.
So
They tell people
obvious.
just have fun and be yourself. And so when you dance with someone you don't know, if you have a fallout or you have a bad moment and you can't continue, you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's try again. Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Yeah, you're
worried,
okay.
concerned about your other partner. But when you're with your spouse or someone, your life partner, so you're dancing with them, you have a blowout. You look at them and say, "What was that?
Yeah, what'd you do?
What was that?
You did that wrong."
Because what
You're not doing
because
it.
you're inclined to be abrupt. You're inclined to be honest, quick, concise, to the point.
Oh, sure.
And that's what you're kind of conditioned to do. So you do that, but it doesn't come across necessarily that way. It comes
This is so interesting that you do that too, because I do talk about this with my couples. Dance is a slice of life.
Thank you.
And the way, and when these young couples come in, you know, and I'm sure you've had this experience too, where you're like, oh, they've got the good ingredients here because they're communicating together. And so, of course, as an instructor, we're very often like marriage counselor or premarital counseling, you know. And so
practicing without a license.
That's right.
Exactly. Well, we got our license.
Don't tell.
We got our license. Bingo.
But you can just talk to them about communication because dancing, like a relationship, is always goes best if you focus on your own part. What can I do to make this dance better? What can I do to make this relationship better?
How can I listen to my partner better?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And listen to his needs and fulfill his needs while not giving up myself.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Right.
So it is the perfect thing to do in a marriage seminar.
awesome.
Actually, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's very effective. It's very effective.
Yeah,
It really, we get a lot of comments that they really like it, and it's kind of like when West Coast is a very social dance. So I go out social dancing, and I'll be dancing with somebody I don't know, or maybe they know who I am that I teach or something, and we'll have an issue. We'll be having fun, taking chances because that's what we're supposed to do, right?
Right.
And we'll blow out, and they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I missed it." And I said, "No, sweetie, that was really more me than you." And they said, "No, but you're a dance instructor." And I said, "Honey, it doesn't matter what all of that, but I can tell you what's true every time. If I'd have led it better, you'd have done it better."
Yeah.
So it's always you got to take it on you as much as you can. That's,
Sure.
That's constant. That's always there.
I've heard his side of the story, how when he met you, and it's great when every time he tells that story.
Right, here we go.
I want to hear from your side of things now that we
Lord.
have here. When you first met Wes.
Are you sure you don't want me to say it again? I can say it again. I can say it again.
I'd love to hear her
The
side.
very
of it.
first time?
Yes.
I was actually married to my daughter's dad. We lived very close to a friend of mine, our common friend's house, and they were having a Christmas party. So the husband and child and I went over to the Christmas party. And he is a non-dancer, has always been, always will be. Let's just say
he likes other hobbies.
He's an extreme redneck. Let's just
Oh
say
Lord,
that.
she said it. She said it out loud.
Said it.
And that's not a negative. He is proud of that, and he'll tell you what.
He's fine.
makes
That's just who he
up,
is.
and he's a
That's
I get
just
it.
who he is.
I got some of my boys. They're like that.
Exactly.
not a big dance guy.
Nope.
He
Not
likes
gonna
football,
dance.
beer,
Not ever gonna dance.
NASCAR.
That's fine.
Football, beer, NASCAR,
But-
shooting guns.
Exactly.
Get you.
And I like a lot of that stuff too. So I guess that makes me part redneck too.
Hey, what's wrong with that? Who doesn't like shooting a bunch of guns? I love shooting guns.
So Amanda was about 2. We go over to this
That's
Christmas
funny.
party, and the couple had a second floor, which was mostly a dance floor.
Yeah.
And so I just went up there and danced most of the night. And he was there, and a lot of new dancers
Me and
were there.
30 other guys.
And-
There's probably 100 people at the party.
Oh,
So there's a lot of
wow.
people.
I guess so. Yeah, it's a long time. ago.
That's a good party right there.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
party.
So it was fun, and
So did you have an opportunity to dance with him?
so we danced several times, and I danced with like all the new dancers, and husband just stayed there with the daughter and on the
go
little
have
sofa.
fun, go
yeah,
have
it was
fun.
like go play. Okay, great. And he kept going. Well, let's dance one more. I gotta go. It's like after midnight, and
You got a baby
she's
there.
like
She's
a
a
year
nice
and a half.
dancer.
Oh yeah.
She's a year and a half old, so
Yeah.
I kind of gotta get her home.
Yeah, Kerri just turned into a pumpkin, dude. You got to go.
Yeah. Right.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
So, but I do want to clarify that. Be sure everybody understands it. We danced a lot, but I was very impressed with her just because she didn't care who in the room she danced with, bare beginners or someone who is highly skilled. She just loved all of it. She treated everybody great. So my take on it, I just thought she was a neat lady, a nice person.
yeah.
Met her husband. The daughter was like a year, I think, or something. So not much talk there, but I just thought everything was great. Just took a note of that. And then, I don't want to interrupt your version, but
Hijack her story.
It's not normal. I don't know what to do right now.
You get to talk right now.
You get to talk.
We could let him talk.
I'm on the mic. I'm on great behavior.
So anyway, the marriage went south, and so like all good dancers, I start going out dancing again, and run into him and danced a few times, and we made a agreement to go out to a place to dance because we were all meeting at Stampede, which closed down.
So
Let's take a moment of silence.
Okay.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Because that's where everybody used to go. If you wanted to go out dancing, you just went to Stampede, and there was always people to dance with. It closed. So now you had to make arrangements ahead of time. What?
To get people to meet
What?
people out, or you wouldn't have anybody that was
Yeah.
a skilled dancer.
Because
Right.
everyone used to meet us.
Yeah, everybody wanted the West
so
Coast,
you didn't even have to
and
arrange
you couldn't
that. You're
walk in
like,
and know if they
so
did
you
West
just
Coast, so we'd all say,
Yeah,
"Hey,
you
let's
just show
let's go
up, and there
somewhere."
were people
Sure.
there to dance with that you
Gotcha,
knew.
gotcha.
So it was, what? what do we do now? So we had to make arrangements to meet somewhere. And so we made arrangements to meet at Cathys.
Yep.
The little bar down in a hotel.
Intercontinental Hotel.
Yeah.
Yes. And several people were going to be there.
12.
We were the only ones that showed up.
No one showed up. It was just me and her. They all promised, and I'm not going to call their names out. But they all it seemed to work out pretty well, actually.
We had the list.
He has the list memorized.
They were going to, there was a dozen of them, and I was, and I thought, well, we'll just have some fun, and that's it. And then nobody showed. And,
except he and I.
Except he and Sharon and I.
And I had on the long teacher shorts and the floral. I looked like a grandma.
It was.
I did.
It was so exciting.
I looked like a grandma.
It was so exciting. I could just lock myself in my car and drive away and run. It was terrible.
Yeah.
We weren't there. Neither one of us were there because we had any designs on each other or meeting anybody. We were just there to dance.
Obviously, because he had already lost my phone number once.
Yeah. Just once.
I'm just I do remember
that happens. I mean,
I misfiled
excuse me.
it
Have you met me?
it's a phone number. I mean,
No, sir.
It's a phone
No, sir.
She done a
phone
fantastic.
No, sir.
Yeah, she
Listen,
doesn't take it personal.
I get.
She doesn't take it personal.
Listen, my thing is, it's just a phone number. I know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't. So there.
I know how to find you.
So do you remember what happened that night?
Yes, I do, but I would like you to tell it.
You want me to tell?
Yeah,
I would like
take
you
it
to
away.
tell it. You
okay.
do it so much
there
better
we
than
go.
Well,
I do.
I got to tell you, I remember it like it was yesterday. So we show up, and I note the fact that she's in Grandma's floral top and Bermuda shorts down below her knees or something, and I was in a highly wrinkled dress shirt that I
Took it out of
I
the
don't
coat
think I
bottle.
shaved for 3 days. I looked like death, walking around. And so neither one of us had any designs to meet
totally
anybody.
there to hook up.
Right, exactly. We were just there to dance, right? We're just going to dance. It was a Friday afternoon. We're just going to get sweaty on the floor and eat some finger foods at the place,
Sure.
and have a great time. Drink probably would have been involved. And
Some alcohol is always involved.
So I said, you want to dance? And we get out on the floor. And back then, faster songs were very popular. So we were dancing a couple of fast songs. Then they played a slow one. And I thought, well, we can't dance to that. So I said, so I started escorting her off the floor, and we go sit down, and we're sitting at a tiny table in a loud bar, right? So we're face to face. We're in each other's space, trying to hear each other talk.
Sure.
And then they play another song, and it's another slow song, and I'm thinking, well, damn, we're never going to get to dance, And I'm like nose tip to nose tip with her talking, and I'm thinking we're never going to get to dance again, because they keep playing slow music. And then I look at her, and her eyes were kind of pretty and alive, and her smile was beautiful. And I really enjoyed her company. And I thought, I'm the dumbest what in this room. And so I looked at her and I said, would you care to dance to that? And she said, absolutely. So we got out on the floor, and because I had been divorced for several years, and because I was in a great place socially and knew exactly how to handle this, I did the junior high sway for about 10 minutes. I was scared to death. I didn't know. It was terrible.
The only thing missing was the balloon.
Yeah, exactly, right. So
Plenty of room for Jesus there.
room for Jesus.
Leave some room for the Holy Spirit.
But we had a connection. We had a.
And I still remember the song.
What was the song?
Truly, Madly, Deeply by Savage Garden.
Wow.
How about that? So we had a little emotional connection, and we talked all night. We shut the place down. We're changing shoes because dancers always bring dance shoes, right? So we're changing shoes, and I looked at her before we left, and I said, "You may not know where this is going, but I do." So, and then 6 months later, we got engaged. 7 months later, we got engaged, and 5 months after that, 6 months after that, we got married. So,
well, there you go.
And that was 18 years ago, or 19 now.
Because you knew.
And he had
There was
6
a-
happy
I just knew.
weeks.
I just knew. Yeah.
He has more than
He has had 6 happy weeks.
Yeah, 6 happy weeks, exactly.
6
18
happy
years.
weeks.
Feels
18,
like
19 years now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good overall.
Do you think that's one of the biggest challenges then in your life, and like when you were having the difficult times, and because that affects our work, right?
Oh, everything.
Yeah, it affects the whole
absolutely.
life. Yeah.
It affects everything, right? When you're in that place emotionally and mentally, I guess, and it's all new and it's fresh, it's great. But when it stays new and fresh, and when every day is exciting and you get bad news and it's still exciting, and you're, when you're in a great place, everything's okay. And so even the tough times that we had before we got married and after we got married, it was just all great, because when you're connected, that's what we're all looking for, right? When everybody starts wanting to dance, what they're really looking for is some type of connection, right? Something. They're not there.
Human interaction, sure.
Yeah, at least partner dancing, at least what we do. I mean, if
Sure.
they're looking for something else, they may be doing hip hop or something where you don't need a partner. But in partner dancing, everybody's really looking for some type of connection, at whatever level they're looking for something.
Sure. That makes sense.
Human interaction.
yeah,
Even more so, right, with our digital age and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like the craving for more connection is there.
So, and we get that in dance. And, it's funny, we're all looking to communicate, but the question is, the big thing is, what message are you sending? And hopefully you and I have something to do with, hopefully we have something to do with shaping that, right?
Yes.
Because people, a lot of people, including me, got into dance at some point in time because of a divorce or some kind of a happening, a loss or something, that they weren't in a good place initially.
Trying to fill a void.
Trying to fill a void or trying to get past something. And so anytime you're hurt or wounded, you're going to be thinking about yourself, right? And dance and real relational stuff is really much more about thinking about somebody else. And so you can learn to refocus, and then you feel better, and it's just people kind of turn around. I've seen that. I think it probably happened with me. I don't want to admit it too much, but I know that happened with me.
I remember somebody that you respect very, very highly. He had a competition early in his career, and he went to this gentleman and he said, "Okay, I know how you placed me, and I know how I placed in relation to everybody else. What can I do to improve?" And this gentleman said,
I don't remember that now.
"Focus more on your partner."
Yeah.
And his response was, "Okay, but what can I do?"
Oh, yeah. I said, okay, I got it. Thank you so much, because I really looked up to this guy.
Yeah.
He competed at the Open, done well, and just was a good guy, and everybody loved him, and he was a great dancer. So I said, I love it. That's great. Oh, I get it. I will. I promise I get it. But what can I do for my dance? He goes, "Oh, you mean what can you do to make you a better dancer?" And I said, yes. What should I do for that? And he goes, "Focus on the girl." and I'm just deflated. I just crashed.
He's like, he's not listening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right through.
Oh, and he just reeled me right in and said, "Oh, you mean this?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, focus on the girl."
Focus on the girl.
Focus on the girl. So,
That's a pretty good idea.
Pretty good idea.
Yeah.
And I said, it's not me. It's not me. Shucks.
Yeah.
So
There's a couple there for a reason.
right, there's two of us, right?
Thank God.
And so one of the things when I'm teaching, I tell the guys that at the wedding seminar, I'll teach a simple country and western dance, or at least hopefully a more simple version of country, something I feel confident we can get through in an hour, a couple hours, however much time we have. And then, and one of the deals, we'll try to do a fundamental turn where the guy is trying to turn the lady through this, and they always get it pretty well, do pretty good. But I tell them, gentlemen, if you lead and you don't get the exact response you want, what are your options? What do you do? I said, you can't force it. I mean, you can't force it in a healthy way. You can hurt her shoulder, you can hurt her feelings, you can knock her down, but nothing good is going to come out of forcing a lead, right? I said, so what do you do? And the guy said, well, I guess we wait. I said, perfect, we wait. We wait for her to finish. So if we're waiting for them to finish turning, moving on their terms, at their design, then now who's leading and who's following? And I said, and if you do that really well, if you're a guy and you're leading and you can do that part really well, it means the best followers make the best leaders, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people everybody has different ideas about men and women in roles, marriage and all that kind of stuff. But at some point in time, most people understand that nobody's going to be leading every moment of the day.
Absolutely not.
So we use that kind of stuff to do that. I don't know if I'm off topic now.
Totally on topic, actually, but I think that's a really good point. Like, what makes a great instructor is that you have to know both roles. Right. So what makes professional dancers so great, I think, is because they do understand both parts really well. Right. And then at the professional level, right, like the two of you, when you dance, there's a lot of give and take, and of course you're the leader and you're the follower, but there's like, you know, that's part of the communication. There is a communication there.
It's still a conversation.
It is still a conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
In West Coast, we refer to that as, we call it the conversation. You know, because when it trades back and forth, we describe it as a conversation. And things that are not appropriate in a quality conversation are not appropriate in that part of the dance. You get to speak, and even if I'm speaking and I'm not through with my thought, but I pause long enough, it's okay for someone to say, well, can I inject something here? And I'll say, well, yeah, sure. That happens in the dance. It doesn't mean that he turns the lead completely off and he's not offering anything at all for her to take it over. She can take it. She can. I don't want to say take it over, but I guess that might be exactly what happens. She can design her own. She can add and.
In the music world, we say she's got a solo. So. Exactly. We break from what we're doing, and now it's your solo, and I give you 8, 10, 12 bars, whatever you need, 2 key changes, whatever you want, and then we come back to what we're doing, and the conversation, and I explained this to Abe years ago. I'll have a solo, and then you'll have a solo, and then it's like. I'm talking to you, not with my soul. Now you come back with me, and it's like that's our conversation. Right. And then the band is playing, the basics. They got it going on in the back. Yeah, they got the background, but she and I are having a conversation. And then we all get back together, and then these two guys go off and they do their thing, and so. I totally get it.
Same thing.
So it's really like you said, it's a slice of life, and communicating and having relational skills is not and in today's world, to me, developing relational skills is not what it used to be. Is that fair?
It is not.
Is that fair? So I think some of that is missing, and so to me, dance is a great place to do it, especially at Studio 22 on 8:30 and 7 o'clock on Thursday night in West Coast. but not trying to.
Mondays.
Or Mondays at 5:30.
Mondays at 5:30.
Wednesdays at whatever
8:30.
time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to sit there and tie this thing up. Wes, Pam, what?
Have an idea.
What's this?
I need to talk about these placements. You said it reminded me. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, there we go.
Your students. Recently had some very good results. So you two are great dancers, but you are creating a lot of these great dancers.
Thank you.
You wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm real proud. We go to 2 or 3 contests a year. We've been promoting them for a couple of 3 years and going and introducing people to competition and not just introducing them, but if they want to continue, we work with that as well. But you can't help but be proud of people when you see them. Get out there, and they're scared to death. I don't care. They're scared to death, and then they overcome it. And then they come off the floor, and then sometimes the next day they see the placement is really good, and that's all fun and that's wonderful. But sometimes the placement is not what they wanted or what they expected, or so. But as a whole, we have a lot of success. We're very fortunate. 2 years ago, we're at an event, newcomer division. There's 20 people in the finals of this newcomer division. 7 of them are from our studio, and we get first, second, and third. So
is that awesome?
We've had some real.
Name names.
Name names of Rosie. Yeah, 2 years ago. I'm trying to remember. I've got their faces right there.
I got their faces.
Cliff got third, and a lady who's the doctor, who's a neurologist from 22. There's a lot of.
Kathy Toller.
Kathy Toller got second place.
Dr. Kathy Toller.
First, second, and third down there.
Awesome.
It's great to do that. But
dude, like I said, I've seen your class. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we
had
17 people go down to Houston this last year and
compete,
and 6 of them were in. Let me see. No, let me tell you. Let me start that over. We had 16 go, 14 compete. 12 made finals or semis.
Wow.
Nine made finals, and we got a first or a second, I think, in there. Or no, a second and a third.
And what was that competition? What was it called?
It was Houston Novice Invitational.
And what's the
year.
next big West Coast?
There's a big thing coming up in Dallas. It's called Dallas Dance, and that's coming up Labor Day weekend in Dallas, and we'll have a few people there.
Good. We'll put that website up.
Yeah, it's a long-standing tradition. I think it's 30 years. Maybe this may be the 31st.
Wow, 30 years.
30 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little long in the tooth. Yeah.
Nice. When we started going to Dallas Dance 22 years ago, or when I started going 22 years ago, there was a lot of people at it. But the industry has changed so much now. It has grown so much that 20 years ago there was 9 to 10 major events in the country every year, and it was great. Everybody would go. Now there's 1 or 2 every weekend, and sometimes 2 a weekend in the country. Mm-hmm. There's 70 to 100 major events now, or quality large events, not tiny. And but there's probably 20 to 35 outside the country now. And there were none when I started. It's become an international dance, and
that's a fun dance, dude.
Yeah, there's a French
music.
Open, there's a Singapore Open, a South Korean, an Australian, Canadian, UK, European. I mean, it's all over the world now because, and the reason for the growth, the biggest reason for the growth is 2 things. Number one, they get to dance to radio music. 20 years ago we wanted it to grow, and we thought we got to get the youth involved. If we want it to grow, we need to get the youth, heavily involved. Well, this is what that looks like, because they have affected the dance in a wonderful way. And they get to do it to they're doing it to the music they like. They're doing it to radio music.
Sure.
Because when I started, we would compete to the band.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That was hired.
Yeah.
We had no idea what we were dancing to.
Yeah. But even that type of music was probably more swing.
It was more blues.
More blues and swingy stuff, and now they dance to everything.
I love the blues.
Yeah. Do too. But now they'll dance to. You'll hear a song on the radio, and we'll have a dance or a party or something. It'll be one of the songs.
You were playing Snoop Dogg.
Oh my gosh, I do.
It's a great class.
I do.
I didn't know you can. I didn't know you could West Coast of smooth. All right,
That's
there we go.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I do it in class all the time. I tell them I can't believe anybody learned to dance without doing it to Snoop Dogg. So here we go.
So much fun.
So it's a lot of fun.
All right.
A lot of fun.
Well, kids, thank you for being here, Pam.
Thank you.
Wes.
Thank you.
Great to
Very
have
good
you.
stuff.
Thank you.
Finally.
Thank you guys.
Been hiding from me all this time.
Finally here at the same time together.
Right.
Yeah, that's hard to,
That's amazing.
All right, the lovely Amay, thank you as well for being here.
Say.
All right. All right,
Let's have a
folks.
dance lesson later.
Yeah, we're gonna have some
funny.
wine and then go ahead and do a dance lesson.
Yeah, I heard what the dance lesson's like. Okay.
Yeah, they're always better. The wine version is always the best. All right, folks, this has been another episode of Dance Teachers Academy. Thank you for watching.